Hello everyone. So I'm going to talk again. This will be my last video until Sunday night or Monday. Not really sure. Depends on how much time I have. But so I'm going to try to think about this logically. And when I've been looking at the models this afternoon, and I've been looking at everything that's going to have to come together for next week's storm to come to its full potential. And I'm beginning to have some reservations because there's a lot of stuff that has to come together, and the solution is just so perfect that, you know, one little thing that could throw the entire storm off. But so basically, the European model is the perfect storm solution. It's showing that everything's going to come together in the right way, in the right place, at the right time, and bam, you've got a major snowstorm from northern portions of the Midwest into the Northeast. That's what the European is showing, and possibly an ice storm as well in areas further south. The GFS is your not-so-perfect storm solution. It develops a weaker storm, still decent, like it would probably bring a moderate snowfall, but nowhere near what the European's predicting. So here's what's going to happen. This is the wind map. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. This is for today. Now, this piece of energy is a coastal storm. Well, not really coastal. It's going to be more of an ocean storm. This is going to move out to sea. And as this moves out to sea, what's going to happen is you're going to have warm air coming up from the Gulf along with that. So that's going to move out. Okay? You're going to have high pressure setting up over the middle of the country here. So that's going to help in funneling up the Gulf air. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a bit of a warm-up for most of this area here for the weekend and going into early next week. Okay? So that storm's going to move out to sea. Then what you have on Sunday, sorry, I'll try to stabilize this a little better. You have this whole kibosh of energy coming into the Pacific Northwest like that. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. Alright, so that's going to come in and it's going to move southeast. So this disturbance, this trough is going to dig south. That's what we call it. It's called digging. And then you have another branch of energy up here, and for the time being, they're pretty much separated. That's just for the time being. So you're still going to have a storm forming in this area due to this piece of energy coming through, but this piece of energy up here, this northern part, is going to play a role in developing the major storm. And just to show you the low pressure map, this is by Tuesday. You have our storm developing over southern portions of the Midwest there. Okay, that's because the trough is going to dig further south. And the GFS does not, the American model does not show the trough digging that far south. That's the major thing. Okay, so that's one major difference. So now this is going to continue moving south, and it's going to move into the Gulf. Okay, so watch. Bam. Okay. Now it's in the Gulf, so guess what? It's going to be taking in Gulf moisture from the Gulf over here, and this northern piece of energy here is kind of starting to phase with the southern piece of energy here. So now look at your storm here. It's intensified a little bit. We're still at 1,004 millibars, but it looks like it's getting stronger. You have more bars around it. Okay? And so let's go back here. I would think that this is the northern branch of the jet stream here. I would think. I'm not really sure. I don't have a 300 millibar map for the European, so it's really hard to tell where the jet stream is. No, I'm sorry. This is the jet stream here. It's the southern. It's south here. That's the jet stream. Okay. Next model run. Bam. So this piece of energy here, this piece of wind energy, phases with this southern piece of wind energy. It takes moisture in from the Gulf, and then look what happens. Bam. Look at how fast that intensified. Look, it's like a slight, there's like a little bit of like an eye in there, like the center. Sorry, I know this is a little bit shaky. So look at how strong this is. So those two pieces of energy phased, and it's going to be taking in Gulf moisture down here and Atlantic moisture through here at the exact same time. So you're going to have a lot of moisture associated with this if the European is correct. You're going to have a lot of Gulf moisture and a lot of Atlantic moisture, as you can see by the tilt here. It's tilted in a way, it's negative up there, and it's positive down here. So at the same time, it's going to be taking in moisture from two different bodies of water. And then, at the exact same time, we're going to have to go back a little bit. I apologize. On Tuesday, you have this piece of energy. That's a clipper system. That's going to drag a cold front through. So this low pressure right here is going to drag a cold front through early on Tuesday. And that's going to set the stage for this area of high pressure to develop down here and funnel in Arctic air. So that would set the stage for a major snowstorm and an ice storm for areas that are closer to the coast, right? Okay, so then here's what happens. So we were back to here. So look at how strong that is, taking in moisture from both places. Now you have Arctic air that's being funneled in to the northeast and northern portions of the Midwest. And then look at this storm. Look at that. That is a really strong storm. Your central pressure is just below 990 millibars, it looks like. That's very strong. And look where the low goes. The European has it coming pretty much just east of Long Island, just to the south and east. So this is your perfect storm solution. And then what happens is it moves out to sea, but it's still pretty strong. And there it goes. It starts to speed up a little bit. But if you notice, the models have slowed down with the progression of the storm, because this was about, it was a little further north yesterday, but now it's a little further. It seems to be moving a little bit slower. All right. So if the low takes this track, keep in mind that before this storm moves in, there's supposed to be a warm-up in this area. So here's the thing I'm skeptical about. I'm skeptical about how quickly the Arctic air is going to be able to move in and how far south it's going to go. I think this area of high pressure up here would need to be a little bit stronger to funnel in that Arctic air a little bit further south to places like New York City, Long Island, northern central portions of New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So I think areas along the coast are going to start out as a rain and snow mix, or possibly all rain during the day on Wednesday. I think the Arctic air should be in by Wednesday night, but again, I'm not really sure. So I think by Wednesday night we'll at least have a wintry mix and a period of, and then if the Arctic air funnels in quick enough, then you would get heavy snow in this entire area. Heavy snow. Not light or moderate. Look at how strong this storm is. You would get a period of heavy snow Wednesday night, possibly extending into Thursday. Okay? Now, let me tell you what can go wrong with this solution now. Okay, so let's come back to our wind map. There are so many things that can go wrong. Alright, so you have your piece of energy moving in. It goes south, and there you go. So, here's what can go wrong. Let's say these two pieces of energy, the northern part and the southern part, let's say they don't come together. That's one thing that can go wrong. Then this storm here, it's really strong now. It would not be nearly this strong if those two pieces of energy don't phase. So that's the first thing that can go wrong. The next thing that can go wrong is, let's say the jet stream is not this far south. Let's say that this trough doesn't dig all the way down here, but rather it comes a little further north and goes across. If that happens, then it's not going to be absorbing as much moisture from the Gulf as it should be to become to its full potential. So that's the next thing that can go wrong. And then the last thing that can go wrong is, let's say the Arctic air doesn't funnel in quickly enough for the heavy snow to form. Either way, look at it this way. Either way, you're going to be getting heavy precipitation from this storm, regardless of what precip type it is. It's going to be pretty heavy. Whether it be rain, whether it be freezing rain, whether it be sleet, whether it be snow, it's not going to be on the lighter side, according to this solution. Right now, the European has a slower solution. So right now, it looks like Arctic air would be able to come in quick enough where there would be a period of snow all across the northern portions of the Midwest, all of New England, and maybe even northern portions of the Mid-Atlantic. It looks like right now, based on this solution, that it's very probable that this area would see a major snowstorm, based on the European. But let's say that the solution speeds up and the storm moves out quicker. Then what happens? Well, then, only areas, I would say, north of, north of New York City and Long Island, and north of southeastern portions of Massachusetts, only areas north of there would see a major snowstorm. Because if the storm speeds up, the Arctic air might not come down in time, and Long Island and New York City, rather than getting a period of heavy snow, you get a period of heavy rain, followed by a wintry mix. And by that time, it might be hard for anything to accumulate, because you've just, you've laid in the ground with rain, and the surface, I think, is going to be pretty warm, since we're getting a warm-up coming. So, that's the other thing that can go wrong. Right now, though, the European is the perfect storm solution. It brings the low in a very good place. However, I think if it takes this track that the European is suggesting, it would be more of an ice storm along the coast. You would still get a period of heavy snow, but you would get a period of ice first. You'd get some ice accumulation during the day on Wednesday and into early Wednesday night. Then Wednesday night you'd get a moderate to heavy snow accumulation on top of that, if this solution happens. I'd like to see this solution come a little bit further east, like up the coast there. This way that it's all snow. And then you would get a major snowstorm in this entire area. And I just want to show you now the previous model run for the European. This is from this morning. I'm sorry, this is from, this morning. Alright, so here's your piece of energy. It's right there. And there's your northern piece of energy. They phase. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I showed you that right. Here's the northern piece. Here's the southern piece. They phase, like in the newest solution. And here's your storm. Now, it strengthens again, taking in Gulf moisture, Atlantic moisture. It moves northeast. And there's your storm right here. And I like this solution better because, number one, it takes the storm further east, which means all snow. And you know me, I want all snow. I don't want ice. I don't want rain either. I want all snow. However, the central pressure is a little bit weaker. But the European has been pretty consistent with its solution of those two pieces of energy phasing. That's the main thing. That's the main difference between the American and the European, is that those two pieces of energy have always been phasing with each model run of the European. Alright, next video we'll talk about the American model.